Welcome, everyone. Welcome to 60 minutes of inner peace and celebration of tiny joys in the body. So we're going to take our hands to the thighs briefly in our seated position, whatever seated position you find comfortable, and close the eyes and notice your inhale and your exhale. Very simple entry to our practice. And notice the quality of your breath. The temperature of the breath, how it feels when it travels into the body, if it's shallow or deep. And perhaps you'll notice as you witness the breath, there are tiny changes that happen in the breath. Perhaps it stays the same, and that's okay too. Perhaps you notice with the exhale, the shoulders might drop away from the ears, relieving and letting go of tension that you might be carrying. Perhaps on an inhale, you grow a little taller. And on an exhale, you feel those sits bones connecting us to the earth, connecting us through that root and our anchor to each other in our practice. Continue back to that witnessing of the breath and noticing how the body responds, how those subtle body changes happen as you breathe, the expansion of the ribs and the muscles around the ribs. And the exhale, contracting to filter out what we don't need. So today is our time together to filter out for a moment in time, 60 minutes, really a small moment in time to filter out what we don't need and invite in the joys that we can replenish us and that we do need. Whether that be a progress in your practice, something you notice in the body, something you notice in your day or evening that brings you joy. Another inhale. And exhale. And then flutter the eyes open. And we're going to come to standing so we can warm up our core and limbs. Come to all fours, curl the toes under, and just lift the knees off the mat, tiptoe towards your hands. And then gently take those feet hip width apart. Keep the fingertips on the floor as you bend the knees and bring the ribs towards the thighs and inhale into a flat back. Allow that inhale to inflate the back body. And then as you exhale, come on up to standing and slowly straighten those knees. As you slowly straighten the knees, it will give that opportunity for the breath to travel to the body and perhaps prevent some dizziness. Great. So let's stand here in mountain, feeling our strength and taking the toes and spreading them out. Feet are hip width apart. And now as you come up to your awareness to the legs, let's bend and straighten the knees, just one round here, bend and straighten, and take the hands to the thighs. And as you straighten the legs, not over straighten, but just straighten, notice if you squeeze those quads, you can feel that lift off the knee, your muscles activating under your hands. And then drop the hands to the side. Awareness now travels to the tailbone, and you can point the tailbone towards the earth like an arrow. And then, voila, you're going to activate those lower abs when that happens. And then we'll travel up the spine to the ribs, the low ribs, tuck in slightly towards the spine. And then upwards from there, we roll those shoulder blades down the back. And then let's bring the shoulders up to the ears on an inhale, and on an exhale, bring them down. Drop the hands next to the body, grow that crown of the head tall towards the sky, allowing for a lovely curve in the nape of the neck. And then here we are in our strong mountain pose. So let's just feel that firmness as we draw the legs together, draw the feet together energetically, and notice our inner strength. Now we're going to take the out to a star pose, but we're going to do it really loosely at first. So we kind of notice what it feels like to just let the limbs out loose, step the right foot out and the left foot out, and just take those limbs out to the diagonal, but keep it pretty loose, and then step back. Do it again, just step out to the right, reach out, and step in again. And this time when you step out, let's see if we can keep everything magnetized together. That was just an example of our reaching out without coming into the center. So let's keep that awareness of center magnetize in as we take the right foot out and the right arm up to the diagonal and left foot out and then out to the diagonal. Now magnetize your hands together, magnetize the feet together, and drop that tailbone and just feel that expansion that is possible and that celebration of energy that's possible when we come from that strong center. Inhale, reach out about an inch further, just energetically from your limbs. Exhale and come together and feel that magnetizing to the core, to the spine, to that column. Exhale. And now let's bring that into the center. So bring those feet together as if they have that magnet between them. Inhale. Exhale in mountain pose. Let's take our equilibrium in mountain pose and just test that proprioception. So take your mountain nice and strong and then close the eyes and just notice. Now we've got to activate very important sense in our body's proprioception. And when we close the eyes, also interoception. So we're really noticing inside. Take a scan, notice what's tense, what's relaxed. Inhale, exhale, flutter the eyes open, and just take a little circulation here with your hips and your spine around the center, around your axis, and keeping your feet on the ground. So we're making a circle with the body. So it's going to feel funny, kind of like we're rooted, we're glued to the ground with the feet, but just making a very small circle around the center axis. And then change direction. So we go the other way. Nice. And so we feel that like the earth going around its own axis, we have that too, to pull us together. Great. Let's take a strong mountain. Inhale the arms out to the side. And then sweep the arms over. Take the sternum turning towards the right. Take the left hand to the right hip. And then take that right hand, if you can, and just tuck it back towards the left hip with the back of the hand on the hip. Gentle twist. Exhaling out here as we filter out what we don't need. Inhale, arms out. Invite in what you'd like to invite. And then left sternum over to the left, right hand, left hip, left hand, right hip, over to the side. Inhale again, upward T arms, exhale. This time, as you turn the sternum to the right, turn the head over the right shoulder if you can, and just stay there, rooting through your feet, keeping that micro bend in the knees. We're looking back, exploring our neck range. And then with that twist, stay in the twist as you turn your chin over your left shoulder. And then over the right. And then over the left. And here over the left, let's do a gentle tuck of our chin towards that collarbone, towards the left edge of that left collarbone. And trace it in towards the sternum. looking down, and then looking up. And bring it to a neutral, and then sweep out of the twist to the other side. Wrap the arms, cozy wrap here, and then take the sternum over towards the left, keeping those hips nice and steady. Inhale, grow taller. Exhale, take the chin over the left shoulder, only as far as you need. You don't have to push, just explore. And then over the right shoulder. And then the left, again. Follow your breath back over to the right shoulder. So we're kind of looking in all directions. And then look down towards your right shoulder and see if you can reach your chin out to the edge of that collarbone. And trace the collarbone inward towards the sternum. And looking down. Inhale, look up. And then find your neutral gaze and sweep it out. And then we'll just twist out, helicopter arms, sweeping side to side. Softly bend the knees. Making a beautiful oxygenation of our spine here. Allowing in, again, invite in positivity. Think of tiny joys. It's just a flower blooming or a beautiful cloud in the sky, anything. And exhale out what you don't want. Come back to center. Take the feet a little bit wider than hip width, so not fully into our wide stance, but a little bit mid-range. And we're going to do chopping and inviting, again, a great way to filter out breath and to expand your breath. Inhale, the arms next to the ears. Take your hands in prayer. I'll just do this. Or actually, let's take them into a clasp, hands, clasp fingers above the head and roll the shoulders away from the ears so we can feel that we're not fully super tense. We're going to chop down between the shins or between the thighs, and we're going to hinge at the hips. But I don't want you to do this too deep if it hurts your lower back. Inhale up, exhale, bend the knees and chop. Exhale between the thighs. Inhale up, chop it down. And this time as you come up, we're going to just really filter out, invite in what you want, exhale it out, chop it. And then stay down here. Bring your hands to the floor. Bring those palms to the floor. Keep the knees bent. And just feel that pulling back of your hands towards your feet as you come up into a flat back, fingertips on the ground. Exhale, bring the palms down, bring them forward, and support yourself as the knees come down and we set up for our next sequence. You're going to take a blanket or something soft underneath your knees for this sequence. All righty, this is going to be a tabletop, so bring it to the bottom of the mat. And then bring the shins onto that blanket with the kneecaps just spilling over the edge of the blanket. So that's our lovely cushion and building a lovely base. All right. So take the knees hip width apart, hands hip, shoulder width apart, fingertip, index finger pointing up towards the sky. What am I saying? The top of the mat. And let's find that neutral spine. Inhale into cat pose. Inhale. And really arc up. You can even close the eyes on this round so you can really go interoception. Which part of the spine needs a little waking up? And as you come deeply into cat pose, exhale, bring the hips back to the heels into child's pose. If you don't like child's pose, you can just continue into a cat-cow sequence. Bring the forehead down to the mat if you're in child's and reach the arms out towards the top of the mat. Inhale into the back body as if you had like balloons into the back of that ribs, and exhale out. Child's pose is a great way to filter out that exhale As you feel the inhale, fill the belly against the thighs, and then exhale. You can actually really physically feel the accessory muscles of the breath. And then we're going to scoop into cat again, tuck the tailbone under, come on up, rise up. See how you just naturally float up? And exhale into cow. Lift the tailbone. And then back into cat. And come on back to child. Come back to child's briefly. Inhale, take the forearms to the mat, and then begin to look up and just look at your hands. And we're going to scoop up into cow, keeping that tailbone rising up, then come up to the hands, and then back into cat and back to child. So you can watch me up here. If there's any confusion, keep those forearms shoulder width apart, touch down with the forehead. And then as you inhale, just press through the forearms and the palms and look up, then lift up onto the hands. Just should feel just like floating up, and then back to child's. Follow your breath. Try inhaling as you come forward into cow and exhaling into cat, back to child. On our next round, take the forearms to the ground. Come on up towards cow and hands rise up. And then we steady ourselves in this neutral all fours as we take our energy of the shoulders away from the ears and down towards those large latissimus dorsi. They're underneath those armpits. Squeeze down. Now take your knees back a couple of inches, or your shins, and bring the hips forward into our knee plank. Let's take the back of the skull awareness to the awareness of the sacrum and line them up. And just feel those glutes engage as you point the tailbone towards the heels. And then we'll take our baby lizard push-ups, bend the elbows, and then straighten. Bend and then straighten. Beautiful. Now scoot back through cat down to child's. Hold child's for a breath. Actually, 2 rounds of breath here. Inhale, exhale. Your next inhale, take your palms up to the sky. Again, feel something that you'd like to celebrate in your hands, and exhale out. Cleansing breath. Inhale, we'll take the palms to the earth again through cat. And now we're going to take a practice for for half moon pose. So again, stabilize your shin, especially your right shin on the mat, and so that knee is protected. And you're going to take the right hand a little bit forward, index finger pointing towards the top of the mat, and really feel the anchor of your back leg. So your right leg and your right shin and the top of the right foot. Great. And now release the weight from your left hand. Take that hand on the hip. And we're going to open up the hip, begin to straighten the left leg out to the bottom of the mat. And see if you can guide your hips forward. You can look down at that right hand to begin with. So this is a practice for half moon standing. Really feel that armpit on the right side towards the ribs. Look down at your right hand, and then softly, if you can, bring your gaze up towards the front, so towards the screen. Pressing down through your left foot. Really feel that steadiness between the right hand and the left foot. And there you go. So this is our practice. You can lift that left foot off the mat if you feel comfortable. And then place the left foot down, keeping the gaze steady. Let's take the left arm up. Really feel that broadness across the collarbones. And exhale, reach with that left hand. Come back to the mat as you gently come back to our neutral stance. There you go. And now with this one, we're going to switch the other side, but I want you to be careful with your knees. And if that twist is in any of this is uncomfortable, then you can just do cat-cow. It's no problem. I'm going to switch to the other side. Come back to tabletop. Do a few cat-cows if you like, side to side. Great. All right, now we've got our steadiness into that left hand and our left shin. Take the right hand to the right hip and see if you can guide those hip bones as they are going to face the navel's going to face towards the front, and we're straightening out the right leg and planting that right foot. And here you have to find some equilibrium here. Don't expect it to happen immediately. Look down at your left hand. Feel the base of your left hand and your right foot. Roll that left shoulder away from the ear. And then look up, bring the soft gaze forward to something very steady. And find the base of that left shin. And maybe lift off the right leg if you'd like, or just stay here and find your nice anchor. Inhale, a joyful right arm up. If you want to put the right leg down and bring your right arm up, broadness across the collarbones. Inhale, all of it up if you'd like, just practice. And then sweep that right arm out, reaching, 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 come back down as the hips face down again. And slide back to child's. Feel the warmth. Reach the arms up. And then reach the arms next to, or take the arms next to the body. So we're curling in like a turtle. And again, if this is uncomfortable for your knees, you can take a blanket behind the knees, or you can just roll onto the back and hug the knees. Let's close the eyes and observe the breath again. Traveling along the spine, that conduit to all of our nerves, nerve endings. Can you invite a sense of celebration to your spine that you've gotten your practice as part of your life and part of your healing? Exhaling. Beautiful. Take the hands beside the face and bring yourself on up. And we'll come to a seat. Next sequence, we can roll that blanket into the middle of the mat. Roll it up so it supports that anchor of your sits bones on the edge of the sits bones there, whether we're kneeling or whether we're in cross-legged, really allows that pelvis to spill forward. The spilling forward, as you know, is supporting that lumbar curve. Lumbar curve can get compromised when we're hunching forward. And when do we hunch forward? When we're concentrating, when we're feeling a sense of weight or maybe too many tasks or too many worries. Such a common thing to just hunch forward. Let's undo that and sit up tall, bringing the fingertips to the sides of the mat, inhaling through the crown of the head, feeling that full spine, all of those millimeters created in the spine between our vertebrae, and exhale. Let's find the base, sits bones and fingertips, rooting down. We're creating a sense of traction here as we have that root of the fingertips, the sits bones anchoring, and exhaling. Lift the arms up to the sky. Look up at the hands. Let's take our fingers and wrists and just twist into hallelujah. And then we'll bring it down so that we're doing a nice royal wave to each other out there. And then we'll come to the practical and turn some faucets. Beautiful. Let's take the arms up again. Inhale. Come through center in prayer position. Trace that line past your all-knowing third eye, past the throat chakra, the voice, to the heart. May they all connect in prayer position here. Inhale again, up. Clasp the fingers together above the head. Reach, if you can, the palms go towards the sky, and we're going to just stretch the side bodies. Inhale, feel the fabric along of the skin, along the ribs, stretch, and then we're going to sway side to side, allowing each side of the ribs, of the lungs to increase their capacity to cleanse. Side to side. Keep the hands clasped, the fingertips clasped, bring the palms, bend the elbows, bring the palms downward, and then let's travel down to the base of the skull. Clasping the fingertips at the base of the skull. You can feel that mound between the thumb and the index finger, just cupping the occiput, the base of the skull. Nice energy points there. Do a gentle lift for some teeny tiny traction. Inhale, and we'll gently guide our chin over towards the right. Sternum goes with it. Come back to center. Exhale to the other side. Allow the eyes to just softly take in whatever's around you, right to left. And then come back to center, gaze forward, and then guide the back of the skull as we look up. And feel that gentle back bend in the mid and upper back. And exhale, bring the elbows together in front of the body and curl the spine as we were doing in cat pose. Inhale again, butterfly elbows. Integrate that visualization of a beautiful butterfly in all its colors into this pace of your elbows, of your arms. And come back to neutral. Drop the hands. So we're taking our Ganesh pose, which is taking our hands, linking the fingers right on top of left. And as you take this just below the sternum, right in that solar plexus area, you're going to take the elbows out to the side and notice as you pull away with the hands gently, your shoulders activate all those support muscles. And we'll take a twist with Ganesh, hands here, right to left. So Ganesh, the deity that removes obstacles in our yogic tradition. Elephant God, come on back here and then switch the hands. Hold your own hand again, left on top of right. And again, that strong chain there created as you gently pull the shoulders away from each other. And take a gentle twist. And then drop the hands, travel those fingers back behind the body, take the fingertips forward and the thumbs towards the body. So we're taking the elbows back behind us and feeling that broadness as we squeeze the shoulder blades together. Broadness across the collarbones. Again, unslouching ourselves. It's just such a natural occurrence. We notice maybe when we're walking around, I'm hunching. What's that about? So let's lift up, bring the eyes up towards the sky, bring the heart up towards the sky. And just feel that gentle back bend. Great, then bring the gaze forward. Bring the hands forward, feel the freedom you've created in the neck. Oh, so nice. And now we'll transition to our standing. So let's take that blanket aside grab a block if you have it. If not, you can still join along. And now we're going to take that block in between the thighs in our tabletop very briefly. So take that block at whatever setting allows you to stay in our hip width apart stance. So keeping the knees hip width apart, squeeze on that block gently, and we'll wake up that strong inner core. All fours, let's bring the hands an inch or two forward, index finger pointing toward the top of the mat, and squeeze those shoulders away from the ears, curl the toes under, keeping the block between the thighs. Come on up to downward dog. Adjust my setting there. Okay, great. And let's stay on tiptoes with bent knees into down dog. So the bent knee position allowing us to lengthen the spine. So push away with your hands so that the head is just in between the arms and we're reaching a long spine in a diagonal, hinging at the hips, staying the tiptoes, and then gently seeing if you can lower the heels towards the mat. Our base, the palms, the fingers, the toes, and the base of our feet. Inhale, push away, feel the length, soften the face. Exhale, find the base. Feel free to come up to tiptoes and down again. And then walk the hands towards the feet. You can bend the knees or straighten them depending on your capacity with those hamstrings. So again, no over efforting here, just to come to whatever is comfortable for you as you squeeze the block in between the thighs. And then bring the gaze between the shins. Again, bend those knees. If your lower back needs that, it's fine. Feel the head drop. There's a bit of traction happening already as you drop the weight of the head, freeing up the neck. And we're changing our perspective here, looking at things upside down. Sometimes that helps shift so many things, whether it's our mental process or spiritual feeling, whatever that is. Just change perspective. Great. Now take the thumbs to the elbow creases and use that extra weight of those forearms down to come to this forward bend. Again, stay in a flat back if you have those lower back troubles, or bend the knees. And then take the fingertips to the mat. Inhale into a flat back. Hinge at the hips, squeeze the block, very nice and aware there as you come on up. That will protect the lower back and help us come up with more of our muscles engaged there. Beautiful. And now remove the block and stay. You can stay at the bottom of the mat. Just look up, inhale the arms up towards the sky. Take the thumbs to the elbow creases here. And with your fingertips on the elbows, feel the lift you can create with your fingertips as you lift up towards the sky, and just get a little taller here. And we'll lean over to the right. Exhale. Inhale up to center. Exhale to the other side. And one more time. Lift as you inhale, get tall. Exhale. Side. Each time, a little more capacity on each side to open up into the breath. Beautiful. And then release. Come to the middle of the mat. And we're going to take our proud warrior feet over to the right. So first, take that wide stance. Take your right foot out to the right. If you need a block, we're going to come into some practice with our half moon as we were doing on the floor. So take that block out to the side in case that helps. Doesn't hurt to have a piece of furniture near you if you need that extra balance. So we're going to go from half moon and then our side angle. So come into this nice stance where your right leg is straight, but you have your right hand on your thigh and you can squeeze the quads. So you can feel that engagement. You can unengage them and just kind of see what effect that has on the knees. And then engage and pull up. Nice and firm. So we're creating that strong base, right? Okay, so look down at those toes, spread the toes. And then look up, take the left hand to the left hip and the right hand to the top of the right thigh, right here. So we're going to try to go into half moon from here, but we're going to softly practice our gaze first. So keep that right leg straight. We're just going to look down at the right toes and then look forward to a still point in your sphere somewhere, and then down and then up again. Great. And then keeping that gaze forward, we're going to inhale, exhale, feeling that hinge point at those hips. We're going to take the right knee and bend it and adjust the back foot. Not into full side angle. We're just setting ourselves up for half moon here. Now bring the gaze down to the right toes again. And then tiptoe your left foot towards the right and straighten out the right leg. Okay, now we're looking down in the distance, but now we're going to bring that gaze up from that steady point of our feet on the ground, right? We've got both feet on the ground. And I'm starting with the hands on the hips here so you can really feel the spine grow long away from the hips as we test our balance. So keeping that gaze on the still point in the distance, you're going to take the left toes and lift them up and imagine that you're pressing that flexed left foot into an imaginary surface. And grow the spine out of that pelvis and see if you can tip towards horizontal here. First using that, and then come down if you need to, but really using the hands as your cue to lift and grow the length into your balance. And feel that left foot against an imaginary surface. Feel that firing up of the right leg. And then coming down briefly back to our feet on the ground to that nice space. So as we come into the next practice here, we're going to open the arms out and expand across the collarbones as we did in our practice on the floor. So look down at your right toes, bend the right knee. As you tiptoe towards the left foot, fire up those quads on the right side. Inhale, keep the hands on the hips as you steady yourself into the balance. And once you find that steadiness with your gaze, you're going to open the arms up into that wingspan. Positivity, notice your progress with this pose. I know we've practiced it before. Come back down if you need to. But really celebrate what you've learned, any progress you've made, any little extra millisecond that you can spend in this balance. Skull to sacrum alignment, all of those cues. Micro bend the right knee and come out when you need to. Come feet parallel, shake out the hips. Shake out the arms, and we'll try the other side. The reason I have the block there is some people like to put their hand down on the block, but if you're not there yet, it's fine. Take the left toes over to the side and line that up with the back arch. Nice strong base, feet find each other. And then look down at those left toes, spread the toes so we have a really wide base to work from. Great. And then softly bring the gaze forward, down, and forward. This is kind of a little dance we do with half moon pose, is that shifting of the gaze. Now look down at the toes, bend the left knee, keep that quad engaged into, if you need to put your hand there and remind yourself, hands on hips, tiptoe right foot toward left, straighten the left leg, strong base. And then as we feel our feet on the ground, look forward. And then tilt to your left, growing out from the pelvis. right foot against an imaginary surface, supported by your own strength. And come out when you need to, woo, bending that left knee, playing. Noticing your breath. And then from this, coming back to your base feet, we'll try that wingspan version of our pose. And tiptoeing right toes toward left, create the strong base, steady gaze, and come on into the pose, open up the arms wingspan, and come out when you need to. Like I said, more progress in this pose is very much always a little bit of a dance. Some days are better than others. Some little milliseconds are better than others. A difficult pose. So congratulations for playing with it. Come back when you're ready. Toes parallel. Shake whatever out you need to, and we'll just take side angle to the other side. Move that block over to the right side if you need it. Find the strong base of your legs. Inhale from hands on hips. Exhale, right knee bends towards the right toes. Same engagement with that quad, but we come down a little bit deeper, dropping the pelvis. Find the evenness between the feet. Inhale, feel yourself growing away from those hands. Exhale, lean over to the right. Right hand to right thigh, or we're going to take the hand down to that block. Take the left hand to the bottom of the pelvis so that the sacrum awareness is there. And notice your heart facing forward, maybe the gaze up towards the sky. Feet are steady and magnetized, and we take the left arm next to left ear. The most graceful side bend here, lengthening of the left side. You can gaze down here and look at your right toes, making sure everything's aligned. Feeling the full base of your foot and then gazing forward. Inhaling, sweeping the left hand up. Oh, and bringing yourself from that strong base up. Firing up our quads, right? And switch the legs, switch the block, other side. Hands to hips. Exhale, left knee bends. Adjust so that we're right in the center with that pelvis. Gaze over at your knee, making sure everything is aligned. Gaze forward, lean over to the left, growing the spine long. Left elbow, left thigh, or to the block. And notice if your right hand is on that right hip, just see if you can guide that energy forward. Heart shining forward, maybe the gaze up towards the sky, and then reach up with your right arm and next to right ear. So let's again come back to the awareness of your feet, of the legs, of those strong muscles as they pull together. And then sweep the right arm towards the sky on an inhale. Bring yourself back up, straighten the left leg, and then come to parallel feet. Inhale, exhale. And we'll take the hands to the back of the thighs on both sides as we're coming into a forward bend. But as we come into the forward bend, we really want to encourage the thigh skin to do an inward spiral. So we're helping our hips and our lower back to do this action inward. And so let's guide that skin as we lean forward from the hips. Let's guide the skin of those back thighs up towards the sky. Then switch your hands so that the fingertips are towards the inner thighs as you come down, and guide that energy inward. Bring the palms down to the mat. So already you've set yourself up so that the legs are better aligned, the bones are better aligned to support your forward bend. Inhale into a flat back and feel the length. Exhale, feel the navel go towards the spine as you exhale out. And take the left hand to the floor, and we'll take a twist, reaching up with the right fingertips. Inhale. And joyously trace that line back down to earth with the right hand, down on the floor, and then to the other side. Gaze comes with it. Invite in with that reach, something you've been wanting to celebrate, and come on back down. Hands down, support, and we'll take a long, wide downward dog here as we reach the hands away from the body. Bring the ears between the arms. Just feel that long reach from the base of that wide stance. Soften the gaze. Come forward into a wide plank. So where the hands are in a normal plank position, but the feet are wide apart as we adjust the feet, and step inward with the curled toes into a regular plank. You can take a knee plank too, or you can just stay here in plank, squeezing that armpit energy towards the ribs, pointing the tailbone towards the heels. And then bring one knee down, and then the other knee down. And then we'll take a switch over to our bridge setup. So we're going to come back down to the mat, grab the block, ease yourself down to the mat. Gazing up at the sky, just feel your different alignment here of the spine in the horizontal, sacrum to skull, knees bent, feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart. Set up the base into our bridge. Take the block between the thighs. Find your feet, step strong through the feet. And the length of the arms is also another nice base here. So let's feel the shoulders curl away from the sternum. Shoulder blades come together. And then we're going to lift the hips up, squeezing the block, lift up towards the sky, sternum towards the chin. And from here, see if you can dip down a little bit and reach for that block. And we're going to take the block at that wider setting and reach it up towards the sky. And imagine the block still is between the thighs. So we're squeezing that too. And follow your breath. And we're going to take that, squeeze the block between the hands and lift it up above the head on the floor. Exhale it back, squeeze, 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 and then find its place between those thighs. And then snake the spine back down. If we have this lovely prop, we really get all of our support muscles engaged. Inhale, let's try it again, lift up. And really come into that bridge, reaching the sternum towards the chin. And then find that block. Keep that engagement as you squeeze the block up towards the sky, reaching behind you. Exhale, hinge it up towards the sky again. And then in between the thighs. Exhale down. So find something new, a new muscle that you found you haven't engaged before, perhaps. Some new strength you found. Some small joy that's new in this pose. Inhale, this last round, up, hips up, sternum toward chin, arcing up, and then we grab that block, squeeze between the hands. Feel the shoulders engage as you reach up above the head. Feel the length. Celebrate the spine. Exhale, reach up towards the sky. And back down between the thighs. And scoop it down. Remove the block. Close the eyes momentarily, noticing the warmth we've created in the whole body. So lovely. Open the eyes. Inhale the left knee towards the face, and we'll take a figure 4, circling the ankle. Let's get all the way down to the end of our skeleton there. Don't ignore those ankles. Circle, circle. And then taking the left ankle to the right thigh. Again, if we just kind of flop into a figure 4, it is really a different experience to engage fully and bring the mind's eye to the triangular sacrum at the base of the spine, drawing it together towards the sacrum, taking the left hand to the left thigh, pressing into the thigh and the thigh into the hand, and letting go. Beautiful alignment set up here. And then we can inhale the right thigh towards the face and hold on to the back of that thigh. Press those hands into the thigh and the thigh into those hands on the right side, keeping our left foot flexed, right foot flexed. And now point to the sky with that right foot, sole to the sky. Figure 4. Another awareness moment with your sacrum. Spread the toes of the right foot. And then celebrate our strength here. If you'd like to let go of that right thigh. Those are your core muscles in action. And then take to the back of that thigh again, support as you bend the knee and foot down to the floor. So nice. Unwind. Inhale the right knee towards the face and circle that amazing ankle. Both directions. Guide that ankle to the left thigh. And we're just kind of in that lounging, relaxing here. And now we're going to come into that engagement. So awareness to the sacrum, that beautiful triangle. Right hand to right thigh. Press into the thigh, thigh into the hand. Let it go. Activate your right foot and left foot as you bring the left thigh towards the face. Cradle that thigh. Press the hands into that thigh and the back of the thigh into the hands. Feel the opening along the way. Again, even if it's a millimeter of something new, just notice that. And then let's take that left foot to the sky. Dropping into the left hip now as we straighten our left leg. Pressing again that energy of the hand into the thigh, hands into the thigh, thigh into the hands. And release if you'd like to wake up those core, lower core muscles, mid-core. And hold, cradle the thigh again. And bend the knee. Bring the foot down to the floor, unwind. From here, feet plant on the floor. They come a little bit wider than hip width towards the edges of the mat, and the knees come together. Thumbs to elbow creases again. We're reaching above our head to the top of the mat. Keeping that length in our side body. We're still creating more length, always possible. And then take the right knee towards the left ankle. Trace it along the shin and back up again. Left knee toward right ankle. Down and up again, tracing that line. So this twist is a lovely upper whole body twist, so that we're really able to take a little tour, noticing all the connections, starting with the legs, the witnessing, and then bring the forearms above the eyes and the elbows go side to side. Oh, opposite of our legs. And then bring our neck, full spine experience into this. One ear to the mat and the other. Roll the head side to side, opposite of the arms. And the eyes follow the elbows. Continue smooth, even movements here. Bringing us all back to that column. The spine pulls it all together. And then slow it down, knees together, arms easily draped next to the body, palms up towards the sky. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as you lift up the sternum. And as you exhale down, notice the shoulders melt towards the earth. Straighten the right leg. Flop that foot out to the side. Straighten the left leg, flop the foot out to the side. Perhaps in today's practice, you've opened up some new possibilities in the body, bringing our attention to something that might have needed an intention. Close the eyes, notice your breath. Notice the physicality of the breath and the miracle of that physicality, of all of the muscles involved in that inhale, around the ribs, diaphragm, all the way to the base of the pelvis. Exhale. Releases naturally. Spending time with this attention to nurturing our bodies, healing at the pace that our breath guides us. It's one of the many ways that yoga can keep us on the healing path. And as we do yoga together, to support each other on that path, even as we are virtually connected and not physically in the same room, we can send out that energy of support to each other. Through whatever the world is delivering us. At whatever time. Inhale with the whole body. Exhale with the whole body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend the knees and the elbows. Ease yourself over onto your right side. And help yourself up to a seated position. Hands at prayer position in front of our hearts, which I hope celebrate more joy moving forward. Thank you so much for joining me in the practice today. Namaste. See you Thursday.